Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to very snowy, very cold. It's warmed up a little bit, I suppose. Minneapolis, Minnesota. My name is JK. JK Says, our second episode on the air. McPeasy's already in the house hosting. Appreciate it. How's everyone doing? It's been an interesting last couple days, that's for sure. We've got a lot to talk about, so let's get you started. You can follow me on Twitch if you haven't done so already. Name's at the top of the screen. We are restreaming on YouTube as well. You can go back, watch previous episodes. This is just our second episode. Hoping to make this a bigger and bigger deal each and every time. And, of course, we are on Twitter. Follow me there, at JK Says Radio. That's at the top of the screen. We are on Skype, too. If you feel the need to call in, let me know what you have to say. Give us a call on Skype. We will get you on. And that you can search JK Says Radio for that. I have a couple Skype accounts. I had to remember which one it was. Right at the top of the screen, at JK Says Radio for Twitter and JK Says Radio for Skype. Well, and you can also chat as well. Let me know what you have to say there. Folks, it has been an interesting last couple days. Oscar nominations are in, and as always, that becomes a huge topic of discussion. For better or for worse, some people get a little too worked up about certain things when it comes to Oscar nominations, and I want to get to some of those right now. I've made it very clear that the best movie that I saw in the year 2017, and the Oscars technically go a couple weeks into 2018, but that's not a big deal. The best movie that I saw, and it was not close, was Logan. Now, we all know that Logan is not going to get the kind of run that other movies, typical dramas, comedies, and superhero movies typically don't get a lot of run when it comes to Academy Awards. And I get that. Star Wars isn't going to win Best Picture. Logan's not going to win Best Picture, let alone be nominated for it. But I found that Logan was a very different type of superhero movie that bordered on drama, focusing on Wolverine's final days, really. But I thought the main focus, and someone who probably was well deserving of a supporting actor nomination, was Patrick Stewart for his role of an ailing and dying Charles Xavier. And to not get that is very disappointing to me. Unfortunately, the Academy Awards are a very politically driven type thing, and it's hard for me to ever get worked up about something like that. But here are the Best Picture nominations. You may have heard of some of them. Many of you may not have heard of some of these. I saw one of them just yesterday, and it was fantastic. Here we go. Call Me by Your Name, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, Get Out, Lady Bird, Phantom Thread, The Shape of Water, Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, and The Post. I saw The Post yesterday, starring Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks. It was outstanding. A very good period piece concerning the battles between the New York Times, the Washington Post, and Richard Nixon. Excellent movie. Highly recommend it. I'm sure I will see some of these later on. Many movie theaters go out of their way. There's one actually just down the road that shows all day. They'll show Best Picture nominations. There are a lot of them this year. There are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 9. For some reason, they always change that number every year. Some years there's 4, some years there's 6. This year there's 9 Best Picture nominations. I don't know how you determine that or why we couldn't find room for others, but that's where we stand as far as the Best Picture nominations. We mentioned Logan, and it did get nominated for Adapted Screenplay, along with Call Me by Your Name, The Disaster Artist, Molly's Game, and Mudhound. But to me, that seems a little slim, doesn't it? I think the internet went nuts over the controversy over Best Animated Movie, and to find that the Lego Batman movie was not a part of that, not a part of Best Animated Feature Film. The Breadwinner, Coco, Ferdinand for some reason, and Loving Vincent were on there. But the one question that the internet was going nuts about, The Boss Baby. And I could only facepalm so much when it comes to seeing that The Boss Baby was nominated for an animated feature film. My 7-year-old son enjoys watching The Boss Baby, and I have seen it on and off a couple times, and I understand the premise, I understand the plot, I understand the story, but it's an extremely convoluted movie that goes off into its own world, but even then does not make sense. Relying heavily on poop jokes and fart jokes is not funny to me, let alone someone who's probably over the age of 12. I don't get the love for The Boss Baby. Perhaps we are trying to continue to reward movies that are mediocre. I don't know. Alec Baldwin continues to get a lot of run, and maybe that's part of it. But the whole thing felt very forced, and it just didn't make a lot of sense to me. And I get it. It's an animated film. It's for kids. It is what it is. But it's okay to live in an alternate reality type of world like they're trying to do and still be logical about it. There's so many illogical points to The Boss Baby. It drives me mad. The Lego Batman movie, on the other hand, had excellent voice acting, had excellent music. The writing was tremendous. The plot lines were there. It was funny. I laughed a lot at the Lego Batman movie. I thought it was better than the Lego movie, the original Lego movie with Chris Pratt. I thought it was better. I don't know. I don't know who specifically is making these nominations or what they're watching, but I thought they missed a great opportunity there, and I almost could have penciled in the Lego Batman movie to win. All right, there's a lot of other Oscar nominations. You can check those out online. The Academy Awards coming in a couple months from now, I believe. But this is the 90th Academy Awards, so lots of good stuff happening there. Again, you get hold of us via chat on Twitch. I'm on YouTube right now as well, YouTube Live. I've got the chat open there if you want to let me know what you have to say. Rachel, hello over on YouTube. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can also, of course, give us a call on Skype if you so choose. JK Says Radio on Skype. You can find me there. And, of course, on Twitter at JK Says Radio. Get the latest info as far as our radio show is concerned and our Twitch channel. And once we're done here, we're going to try and finish up the game that we started on Monday on Xbox One called Inside. It's an indie game. It is, I did not know what to expect going in, but it is a little scary. My heart was pumping a little bit. I was being chased by dogs. Not for kids. You're playing it as a child, but that game is not for kids. If you like to see dogs mauling children, then that's your game. And it's not like graphically detailed as far as that goes, but that's what's happening. Let's shift our gears towards gaming. And we talked a little bit about what to expect on Monday, but let's talk Xbox One's Microsoft Xbox Pass. And now, I think we've made it very clear that the PlayStation missed out on a glorious opportunity with EA Access. And that offer still stands, I'm sure. And Electronic Arts continues to offer what I consider the greatest deal in gaming. The EA Access Pass you get for $30 a year, or $5 a month, whichever you choose. You get an unlimited amount of games from the EA Access Vault, which now has over 40 titles. If you're a sports gamer and like EA games, that's your go-to right there. Usually those games go to the Vault 6 months after release date, and they're free to play from that point forward. Well, not free to play, but with that subscription. That includes Star Wars Battlefront, and Battlefront 2 is going to be coming to the Vault in the next few months, I'm sure. And, of course, you have all the EA sports games. You have the Mass Effect games. They added Black just recently, which is an odd selection, but that was on the original Xbox and PlayStation 2. Crazy. But there's a lot of games up there, and EA Access is fantastic. You also get 10-hour free trial. I don't know what PlayStation is doing or why Sony thinks that they don't need to have that, but it's a great deal. Something that's not a great deal, Xbox One Game Pass, but it might have gotten a little better. Now, the Xbox One Game Pass is very similar to EA Access's Vault. This is $9.99 a month. It's a little more pricey. In fact, a lot more pricey because there's not a yearly or an annual subscription fee. It's $10 a month, $9.99 officially. And you have approximately 90 to 100 games that are available to you to download, to do whatever you wish. But most of the games aren't that great. You've got like a lot of older games on the 360. You've got like the Streets of Rage trilogy, the Golden Axe trilogy, Mega Man's 9 and 10. A lot of these games I already have. A lot of these games a lot of people have. So it wasn't considered a great deal, perhaps until now. Starting next month, or a couple months I should say, when Sea of Thieves releases, all games made by Microsoft Studios are going to be directly on Xbox Games Pass immediately from day one. Brand new releases. That could be big. That could be a shift in the tides for the Xbox Game Pass. Sea of Thieves slated to release in March. State of Decay 2 and Crackdown 3 all on release day. This will include Gears and Halo games and Forza games made by Microsoft Studios that will be out on release day. Now, people that like to get into fanboy riots on the internet, which I don't understand because I think we should all strive to improve our gaming, whether it be the Switch, the Sony PlayStation, or the Microsoft Xbox One. Let's all come together and enjoy what we have rather than bashing another system. It's no secret that Microsoft is a little low when it comes to first-party games on their console. Something Sony has significantly more of, something that Nintendo is very good at as well. And by the way, pretty much the only games that are on Nintendo are the first-party games that are worth buying. Everything else is usually utter crap. But Nintendo nails it when they hit their first-party games. I digress. It's been, the joke on the internet is that the only thing Xbox has is Forza, Halo, and Gears. We'll see. We'll see if they continue to improve the Xbox Game Pass. But Sea of Thieves will be out on release day with that service, so check that out. You can get a 14-day trial with your credit card if you like it. You can check it out. 14-day trial available, and you could probably just use different cards and continue that cycle. But the only thing with the Game Pass is that they've made it kind of the caveat to it previously is that you need to be aware that they can rotate the games in and out as they please. Now, I haven't noticed anything in that department that they've been doing that. They've added a few. I don't know if they've taken anything out significant. Reddit seems to be fine with it. But for the most part, it is simply a bunch of games that a lot of people already have. And hopefully, the new system will be good. The new system with brand new games. We'll check that out. We'll keep an eye on it. Might get it. Sea of Thieves comes out in March. All right. Let's go. What gear do we want to go to? Want to hit the NBA real quick? I just want to give a quick shout out to LeBron James for hitting point number 30,000 this week. He has 30,000 points in the NBA. And for all you LeBron James haters, look, quick point, I'm not an NBA guy. I don't watch the NBA. I think the games are boring. I think the NBA is a product that I will probably never come back to. But the storylines are always good. I love the storylines of the NBA, and to me, that's the best part of the league itself. LeBron James, Cleveland Cavalier, 30,000 points now. And I'm trying to figure out exactly what everyone has against LeBron James. I have one thing against him, and I've kind of gone back on that because I think he realized it was a mistake, and the way he went about it was a mistake, and that, of course, was the decision that was on ESPN that spent an hour for him to just say he's taking his talents to South Beach. Have we gotten over that yet? Because if you've gotten over that, I don't really understand what the hate for LeBron James is. He's the best player in basketball. Is he the greatest ever? That's for an argument for another time. You cannot compare eras. I've made that very clear in sports. It is impossible to compare different eras. You cannot compare LeBron James to Michael Jordan. They played in different eras. You cannot compare Michael Jordan to Wilt Chamberlain. They played in different eras. And that's true for every sport, by the way. It is impossible to do that. The game changes. The game evolves. Is LeBron James the greatest of our generation right now? Absolutely. 30,000 points. This guy's going to play for another 6, 7, 8, 10 years. I don't know how long this guy can go. The problem is Cleveland is struggling right now in the standings. They fall into third place. They're 6 games out in the Eastern Conference and are continuing to slide, winning 3 of their last 10. Trade deadline. What will we see? What's going to happen with trades with Cleveland? We'll find out. The storylines, as I said, always better than the games themselves. In the background, you might be able to hear some sirens. I live right across from a fire station, so it is fun. A lot of fun. I woken up at 6 a.m. today by a loud, blaring horn from one of those fire trucks. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So TV fans, this is something I always did when I was on the radio. We'd talk about what's on TV tonight. Well, we still got time. We still have time. The big shows tonight, probably the biggest hit of this winter/spring season of television. The biggest new hit, 911 on Fox tonight. I think it's in its 4th or 5th episode. That is on Fox tonight, right after the X-Files. I have not watched 911 yet. I've recorded them all, and I'm going to watch them. Ratings are very good. Expect a renewal there. The X-Files has been kind of an enigma for me. I was a huge X-Files fan growing up. This was a cult, not really a cult hit, a huge hit on Fox that started on Friday night and moved to Sunday night because people were watching it. The Friday death slot is not something you want to be a part of on TV. But it got moved to Sunday nights after the second season, and it shined there for 9 glorious seasons and came to a halt. Of course, a couple years back, it was revived, and it continues now in officially what is season 11 on Fox. The first episode this year, the anthology, and minor spoilers here, so turn away for about 30 seconds, or if you're not willing to hear this. The premiere of season 11 was very difficult for me to accept because it essentially wiped out everything we learned from the season 10 finale, which sucks. And it seems like lazy writing to me. The worst part since this show has been revived has been the anthology episodes, which has typically been the strong suit for the X-Files. And I feel like Chris Carter needs to distance himself a little more from the X-Files because it's weak. It's very weak. And then episode 2 and 3 came along for season 11, and they were great because they were the old, Monster of the Week type episodes. Standalone episodes that mean nothing to the anthology, and they were great. They were fantastic. It felt like the X-Files, and we need to see more of that. We absolutely need to see more of that from David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson, who play, of course, Fox Mulder and Dana Scully. The problem with this season, it is a 10-episode season. Last year was 6. It is 10 episodes. The problem is Gillian Anderson is leaving the show for good. She has made it very clear she is not coming back to the X-Files for another season. What happens to Dana Scully? We saw what happened to the X-Files in the original run where David Duchovny left after season 7, showed up on rare occasions in season 8, and then only in the finale of season 9. It hurt the ratings. It hurt the show badly. What will the loss of Dana Scully mean? Will she die? What's going to happen? We've got several more weeks of this. Hope to find out later. The anthology continues in the finale. We're going to have a lot of Monster of the Week episodes up through then, so we're looking forward to that. X-Files tonight on Fox. NBC has a bunch of repeats. SVU and Chicago PD are repeats. The Amazing Race still going strong in season number 30. 2 hours tonight on CBS, followed by a new Criminal Minds. And on ABC, it's comedy night. The Goldbergs. Great show, by the way. And then 2 episodes of American Housewife. It's going to be sandwiched by Modern Family in the middle. A repeat of Modern Family is between 2 episodes, brand new episodes of American Housewife. And that's, of course, is on ABC. And then they finish with Match Game, which I haven't gotten into. Did you ever watch Match Game? It used to be a great show a long time ago on CBS in the 1970s. They revived it. It's done pretty well ratings-wise, but I stopped watching it. It's not all that interactive of a game show, honestly. I'll stick with my $100,000 pyramid, thank you. All right, moving on. All right, you've probably already heard it, and this is not something I want to talk about. This is not something that is good news by any stretch of the imagination. But if you remember the former Michigan sports doctor who now had his reputation completely ruined, and deservingly so, by the Olympic gymnasts from a few years ago, Larry Nassar. This guy's about to be sentenced this week, and let's be honest, I think everyone wants the judges to throw the book at this guy and put him away for life, and deservingly so. The internet, however, seems to have a different story. And it pisses me off more than anything that people on the internet like to have opinions about this guy that defend him in some way. These are the same people who continue to defend guys like Roy Moore, who, by the way, thankfully lost that election. I don't care what you are, Republican, Democrat, Independent. I don't care. The fact that he lost is great. I'm sorry. To defend someone like that is beyond ludicrous. Anywho. The internet going nuts that, well, these girls should have said something right away. If you are not a victim of something like this, you have no right to complain about anything that these girls do. Let's take Roy Moore as an example. Remember how one of his victims had their house burned down? Yeah, arson was suspected. Still no leads. I wonder what happened. That's a prime example right there. How dare you say anything about these girls? What a joke. The internet is a horrible place for trolls and for people whose opinions are just below the Mendoza line. I'm sorry. If you've never been a victim of sexual abuse, you have no say. JK Says Radio on Twitter. You can also hit me up on Skype. We're running down the show, just a few minutes remaining in this one. And again, you can find me on YouTube. We're going to cut this up and put it on YouTube over the next day or two, and you can go back and watch episode 1 that takes place on Monday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, our shows will take place. I have not decided, by the way, on Friday. I just realized that Mason does not have school on Friday, so I don't know if I'm going to do a show. I'm going to try to. I'm going to try to do a show on Friday. 11:30 Central Time is when we're going on, and I hope you'll join us. And I'm going to continue to try and schedule some interviews here on our show, possibly for next week. But again, you can get on here right now on Skype while we have a few minutes. Find us, JK Says Radio, on Skype. We'll try and get those in if possible. But we are running it down right now. And let's just say it's time for my final say. I need to get some music for this. I need to get some music. McPeasy's in the house. Thank you for the host once again. I appreciate it, man. You should follow this guy, by the way. This is McPeasy. He took a break from streaming for a few months for personal reasons. He is back on. And if you like just chill streams, that's exactly what it is. That is the very definition of a chill stream. Check this guy out. Follow McPeasy right now. He was playing poker the other day, just sitting back, talking whatever, just some conversation, man. Just follow this guy on Twitter or on Twitch. This guy is one of the first people that I ever followed when I started streaming, and is exactly the kind of stream that I enjoy. Just laid back, fun, simple, playing music in the background, a lot of fun. I also appreciate the kind words there, McPeasy. Let's get to my final say. You as a kid, and you know what I'm talking about. And I should have played the jingle in the background. If I was a Toys R Us kid, right? I mean, come on. This was like a treat. When I remember as a kid being able to go to the mall or something down the street and go into the Toys R Us. This was the Toy Story. It was advertised on TV. If you were a fan of the cable channel Nickelodeon, you saw this thing plastered all over that channel, and you saw Jeffrey the Giraffe. You saw God, and that's another reason I wanted to be on Double Dare, the Nickelodeon game show Double Dare, because I wanted to win a $100 gift card to Toys R Us because I thought I could buy all kinds of stuff with it, and then you realize $100 doesn't buy you all that much anymore. But Toys R Us is getting exactly what they deserve in the news this week, as we're learning that up to 187 different stores across the country are going to close. Many of these are in the form of Babies R Us, which I didn't know anyone shopped at because there are so many better options than that. But if you've been to a Toys R Us in the last few years, you probably understand why they're closing. And there's 3 reasons, really. One, it's because the store is being overcome by online shopping, and that's true of many brick-and-mortar stores. 2, Toys R Us is not the same as it used to be. It is. I feel like the customer service is bad. They don't keep everything stocked. It was like a shell of its former self, and I pretty much stopped going. And the two closest ones to me here had already closed over a year ago. And 3, remember back in December when during the holiday rush where the CEOs kept saying, well, we're going to file bankruptcy, but we need to make sure our top 17 executives get their $16 million bonuses because that keeps them motivated. That was the last straw for me. I'm sorry. $16 million in bonuses? You just filed for bankruptcy, and you need to make sure to keep them motivated that they need 8 figures? Get out of here with that garbage. You deserve to go under, Toys R Us. The problem is, the only people it's going to affect are the people that work in the stores. You know, the people that work in the stores, the executives that have no idea how to do their job. That's the problem. And that's the problem with a lot of businesses. You have the top-level people who are making buku bucks to do almost nothing. And yeah, compared to what people do in stores, it is almost nothing based on the salary difference that is made. How many of the people that work at high corporations, in corporate offices, could do the job that the people that are making $8 an hour are doing? Not a lot, I'm guessing. That's a problem for me. That's a huge problem for me, and it always has been. People at store level, entry-level positions at stores, shouldn't the person that's your boss be able to do your job, and their boss be able to do your job, and so on and so forth? That only makes sense, right? If you're going to make that kind of money? That's what I thought. Toys R Us, I feel bad that it's going under, and it will probably be completely gone in the next 4 to 5 years, similar to how Blockbuster's faded out. Have you noticed the Blockbuster store in Texas, that one that's still going on? Yeah. This week, they also said they're closing down. I had no idea Blockbuster was still a thing somewhere, but it is. Crazy. Funny how business works that way. I just fear that 15 years from now, the brick-and-mortar type stores are just going to be a thing of the past. My joke from 5 years ago was that I would always go into Best Buy just to look around to see what I was going to buy on Amazon. Scary how true that's become. Amazon taking over our lives. Too bad, because I use Amazon all the time. I feel like I'm part of the problem, and it may be hypocritical of me, but such is life. We move on. All right, that's going to do it for us. We're going to get out of here. We're going to take a short break. I'm going to cut the stream. We'll start a new one up in a few minutes, so stick around if you want to watch me play some Inside. We're going to play the second half of that. We'll get you caught up on that game. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Inside is the game. It's on Xbox One. It's an indie game. It's only supposed to have like a 4 or 5 hour campaign. I've played a couple hours last stream. We had to cut it short due to the snow outside, and we had a monster snowstorm. Even for Minnesota, it was bad. So we're going to check into that. Folks, we're back here on Friday, maybe. Check my Twitter account at JKSaysRadio. You like the definitive answers? Because I know I do. We're going to head on out. I hope you enjoyed it. McPeasy, thanks for stopping by. Everyone else in the chat, Rachel over on YouTube, thank you so much for stopping by and saying hello. We hope you'll return. Stick around. Just a few minutes from now, we continue to play on the Twitch stream. I'm playing Inside, so don't go anywhere. I will cut the stream, but we're going to be right back with it. Give me a few minutes. Stick around, folks. Be kind to one another. We'll see you next time.